Patty Bullard, the owner and designer of Wubbers Tools, and I'm here today because we got a great question from one of our Wubbers friends. They wanted to know how to do a wrapped loop using the new Teardrop pliers. And I will show you a cute little pair of earrings that I made here with this technique that I'm going to show you on how to wrap a loop. Now, I'm going to set those aside, and I'm going to have a piece of wire. Actually, this is a little long. I'm going to trim it just so I'm not fighting my wire. I need a piece of 18 gauge wire, about 6 or 8, more like 8 inches long. You can see it's about that long. And then I'm going to take, and I'm going to put a little bend in it, kind of like that, because when I put it in my pliers, it makes it a whole lot easier for me to control where the wire goes. And now I have a really nice crisp bend there. I'm going to pull the wire on around like this, and then I'm going to actually cross it over, and I don't even have to close to crisp that up because I'm going to be wrapping up there. And what I'm going to do, let's pull it down just a little more. There we go. Now I'm going to leave it right here on the pliers, and I'm going to, while I'm holding it, that'll hold it in shape, I'm just going to pull this out to the side a little bit and this one up. I've still got a nice teardrop. And I'm going to secure the teardrop, I'm just going to wrap that around. I'm going to trim this because that's a little long to work around. And I love these new apprentice pliers. These are the chain nose. I can usually get a nice tighter wrap if I use a pair of pliers instead of just my fingers. So I'm going around about 1.5 to 2 times, and I want to get it down nice and tight. I can straighten that up a little bit when I take it off. Now, this is looking good. You will find that this will take some practice. It took me a few tries to get this down, but I think it's well worth it because you don't see a component shaped like this and done like this out of wire, because it would be so hard to do without these new pliers. Now you can see I've got a piece that looks like this. And what I'm going to do, it's actually okay if that leans out a little bit, I'm going to take my medium bell makers and I'm going to wrap around the smaller jaw of the medium bell makers. And I'm going to put the larger jaw in this position here. Just pull this across. Now I need to leave just a little bit of room. I just noticed that's going to be tight. So pull that across and cross it under, and then when I can't go any further, I reposition my pliers just a little bit. Now I have a piece that looks like that. And it's okay right now if it's crooked. I'm going to straighten it up in a few minutes. Now I'm going to switch hands because I'm right-handed and I like to wrap with my right hand. And I'm just going to take my pliers and start to fill in this little gap. I do half turns and reposition my pliers because it's so much easier to control what I'm doing. And I can wrap as many times as I want to. I may do one more. And I usually wrap till it gets balanced. The only time you need to pay real close attention to how many wraps is when you're matching this component. And you can see I got it just a little wonky there. Let's see if I can straighten it by just squeezing, and then take this and just bend it over. It takes a little adjusting sometimes. Now let's trim it. And that is definitely a messy wrap, but as long as I make 2 alike, not a big deal, or 2 messy wraps. You can see I did a lot better job on this, but I think I was at a little different angle where I could see better what I was doing. Now, once you have your piece, if you happen to distort it here, let me show you a little trick. These flat nose apprentice pliers have a nice wide jaw. You could also use the classic medium or wide flats, and you can just sort of put that straight edge right back in if you distorted it. Working with wire is a little bit different than working with a thin sheet metal. Now I've got my piece. I want to show you a little bit of a finishing trick here. I'm going to take these are the new Wubbers Artisan Mark hammers, and I love this one. It's a little planishing hammer. It has a flat side and a rounded side, and this is also our new steel block. It's a harder steel, and so it doesn't tend to dent near as much as your regular blocks. It's a higher quality. So I'm going to take my little piece and I'm going to lay it right here. if I use the flat side, it flattens it, but it also makes these really cool little dents because that edge is pretty sharp. And you can see, start seeing, let's see if you can see that texture there. And then if I wanted to do more, I could add a little different texture. I can flip it over and use the rounded edge. And then I want to do my little loop a little bit, not too much. I don't want to hammer where the wire crosses over right there because it will, it could cut it in half. So I'm going to take it right on the edge here and just kind of give it a few light taps and then a little bit of texture. And you can see now that there's my component. I know you're going to enjoy experimenting with the teardrop pliers. They're so much fun. Just keep them handy and keep a pound of wire handy. And whenever you have a few boring or free moments or just want to have some fun, grab your pliers and go at it. Just experiment to see what you can design using the new Wubbers Teardrop Mandrel pliers.